Confidence is probably the most misunderstood psychological skill in the world. Not because it's complicated, but because almost everything we've been taught about it is backwards. We've been told that confidence comes first, that if you could just become more confident, taking action would finally become easy. But nearly 50 years ago, psychologist Dr. Albert Bandura asked a simple question: where does confidence actually come from? His answer transformed psychology. After years of research, he found that the strongest source of confidence was what he called mastery experiences. The evidence your brain collects every time you successfully do something difficult. In other words, your brain doesn't give you confidence before you act. It gives you confidence because you acted. That single misunderstanding keeps millions of people trapped, waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel capable, waiting for a version of themselves that was never supposed to come first. Once you understand this, everything else starts making sense. Why some people become more confident after every challenge, while others spend years trapped in the same cycle of hesitation. It comes down to a handful of hidden rules your brain has been following your entire life. Rules that decide whether fear grows or confidence does. The moment you realize this, you'll stop trying to build confidence the way everyone else does, and you'll start building it the way your brain actually works. Here is the first one. Your brain does not believe what you say. It believes what you repeatedly do. Think about it. If someone walks up to you and says, "I'm a great swimmer," but you ask how often they swim, and they say, "I've never actually been in water," you wouldn't believe them, would you? Your brain works exactly the same way. All those positive statements we tell ourselves, "I am confident I can do anything, I have what it takes." They sound nice, but they're just words. Words are only intentions. They are not proof. Your brain keeping score. Every time you do something difficult, 1 point goes to confidence. Every time you avoid it, 1 point goes to self-doubt. Your brain isn't judging you, it's collecting evidence. And after hundreds of repetitions, the score becomes your identity. If you keep avoiding difficult conversations, or speaking up in meetings, or putting yourself out there, every time you walk away, your brain quietly records something. It thinks, "This must be dangerous." If it wasn't dangerous, we wouldn't keep running away. After a while, this stops feeling like a choice. It starts to feel like just who you are. You begin to think, "I guess I'm just not the confident type." But here's the good news. Evidence works both ways. You don't need big achievements to change this. You just need small, consistent actions. One uncomfortable conversation, one short presentation, one difficult phone call. It doesn't even have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Because confidence isn't born from thinking differently. It's born from giving your brain new proof. So instead of asking, "How do I become confident?" start asking yourself, "What tiny piece of evidence can I give my brain today?" That one question changes everything. Now here is the second rule. Your brain predicts your future based entirely on your past. Before you do anything that feels hard or new, before an interview, before you speak in public, before you start something you've never tried, your brain has already made a prediction about what will happen. Most people think confidence means believing you will succeed. But science tells us something different. Confidence is simply your brain saying, "I have survived something like this before." That's why your first driving lesson feels terrifying. That's why your first day at a new job feels overwhelming. That's why your first time speaking in front of people makes your hands shake and your heart race. Your brain isn't trying to embarrass you. It's just dealing with uncertainty. For thousands of years, uncertainty meant risk. If you heard a sound in the dark forest that you didn't recognize, your brain didn't stop to think, "Let's see what happens." It assumed danger first. That caution kept us alive. But today, that same survival instinct treats a job interview or a conversation or a new opportunity almost the same way. It feels unfamiliar, unpredictable, and so your brain holds back. Not because you are weak, but because it has no past experience to rely on. This is where so many people get stuck. They say, "I'll do it when I feel ready." But feeling ready requires experience. Experience requires action. And action means moving forward before you actually feel ready. So how do you break that loop? Simple. Shrink the prediction. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to become a confident speaker. That feels too big, too unknown, and your brain will resist it. Instead, tell it, I'm just going to speak for 30 seconds. Don't say, I'm going to build a whole business. Say, I'm just going to research one idea for 15 minutes today. Small actions reduce uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty lowers resistance. Lower resistance makes it easier to act. And every time you act, you create new evidence. That evidence updates your brain's predictions. And slowly, naturally, confidence grows. Notice something? Confidence never comes first. It always arrives at the end, exactly where it belongs. Rule 3. Here is the third rule, and it is one of the most powerful things you will ever understand. Every time you run away from fear, your brain learns that avoidance is what kept you safe. Imagine you're walking down the street, and a dog starts barking loudly. You immediately cross to the other side, and right away, you feel that sense of relief. Most people think that relief means they made the right choice. But your brain learns something else entirely. It thinks, crossing the road is what kept us safe. It doesn't matter if the dog was actually dangerous or not. What matters is what your brain links to safety. So the next time you see a barking dog, you feel even more afraid. Not because the dog changed, but because your brain has strengthened that connection. Avoid, safe. This is how fear grows. Not through real danger, but through repetition. And it works exactly the same way with everything else in life. If you avoid speaking up, you feel relief in the moment. If you avoid asking for what you want, you feel relief. If you avoid taking a risk, you feel relief. But every time you choose that relief, your brain learns, if I stay away, I stay safe. Eventually, fear stops feeling like something you feel. It starts feeling like who you are. You say, I'm just shy, I'm just not confident. But here is how you rewrite that pattern. You don't try to eliminate fear completely. You just shorten the escape. Stay in that uncomfortable situation just a little longer than your brain expects. Not forever. Just long enough to collect new information. Because something amazing happens. Every second you stay there and nothing terrible actually happens, your brain begins to update its record. It starts to realize we didn't run and we survived. Slowly, gently, the old fear pattern weakens. Fear is never proof you shouldn't act. It's only proof your brain is still using old information. Your job isn't to fight your brain, it's to give it new data. Here is the fourth rule, and it explains why so many of us stay stuck even when we want to change. Your brain confuses what is familiar with what is safe. Science tells us that the brain prefers what it knows over what is better. Not because familiar things are actually safer or happier, but because they are predictable. Think about it. We see people stay in unhappy jobs, or difficult relationships, or habits that hold them back, even when they know they could do better. Why? Because the unknown feels more dangerous than the pain they are already used to. When you try something new, your brain immediately signals, this is unfamiliar, this could go wrong. It treats change like a threat, even when staying the same is the real risk. That is why confidence stays small. You keep choosing what feels known, even if it keeps you limited. So here is the shift you need to make. Stop asking yourself, is this comfortable? Instead, ask, am I only avoiding this because it feels unfamiliar? If the only reason you hesitate is that it feels new or strange, that is not a warning. That is just your brain saying, we haven't done this before. Confidence grows when you stop treating familiarity as safety. And finally, here is the fifth rule, the one that builds confidence that truly becomes unbeatable. Confidence is not built by never failing. It is built by how quickly you recover when you do. Most people believe that confident people are confident because they rarely make mistakes or fail. But research shows the exact opposite. Confident people fail just as often as anyone else. They just bounce back much faster. Confidence isn't the belief that you will never fall. It is the knowledge that if you do fall, you can get back up. Think about how we learn to walk. When we were toddlers, we fell hundreds of times. If falling destroyed confidence, no one would ever learn to stand or walk. But every time we got back up, our brain learned one simple lesson. I fell, I got up, and I am still here. That lesson is far more powerful than any success. When you fear failure, you stop trying. When you stop trying, you never learn that you can actually handle it. So doubt stays in control. So here is what you do differently. Don't measure your progress by how many times you succeed. Measure it by how fast you recover when things don't go right. After a mistake, or a rejection, or something that didn't work out, ask yourself, how long will I let this stop me before I try again? Every time you recover faster, you teach your brain something deeper. Setbacks are temporary. I am stronger than the outcome. That is what builds confidence that doesn't disappear when things get hard. That is what makes it unbeatable. Your brain is running thousands of invisible programs every single day. Confidence is just one of them. The more of those hidden rules you discover, the more control you gain over your own life.